Here we are, back with another video at the lean-to. This is the first night out winter camping at the lean-to. Time for me to have some Chaga tea and a cup of coffee. I'll be taking this coffee pot. I'll be adding a little over a cup of water in it. And I'll be dropping a piece of Chaga in it. Now, if you saw my harvesting Chaga video, you saw how Chaga looks from the tree. They're big, black and gold colored mushrooms. They almost look like a rock growing on the tree. Now to process it, all you do is you take that big piece of Chaga off the tree. Now, there's like two ways to do this. Some people will dry the Chaga first, then process it. Some people process it while it's fresh right off the tree, and then dry it. The end product has to be dry. I found that if you harvest it and you process it within a couple of days of harvesting it, it processes a lot easier. Because what you do to process it is you take that big chunk, and I like to take a box or a bin, something that I can put that big chunk in, with a board inside the bin or the box on the bottom. And all you use is a hammer. Take a hammer to it. Take a hatchet to it. Take a machete to it. Just be careful you don't cut yourself while you're trying to chop it up. And what you do is you break it all up into these pieces about this size, maybe an inch square and smaller. And a lot of people like to take this Chaga then, when it gets to this size, and put it in a coffee grinder or in a high-speed very durable blender and grind it into a powder or into grounds, almost like coffee. And then they make their tea with it. Well, I found I don't even do that. I just take these pieces. Now, I'll put my water in this pot, and I'll put this piece of Chaga in here. I'll probably take this larger one I have and throw it in there. That piece there will make me several cups. I mean, I could be out for a 5-day trip and I might only use that one piece. There's a lot of nutrients, a lot of benefit in that one piece that I can get out of there time after time. And you can kind of tell when you're using it up, when it's getting to the point where it's being used up. So, let me get my fire established and going and get the water in the pot, and let's start boiling some Chaga, okay? So stick with me, and then while it's cooking on there, I'll talk to you a little bit about its benefits. So it's time to make Chaga. So I dropped that piece of Chaga in here. That's about an inch square. You probably won't be able to see it in there. Oops, spilling a little water that was in there out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about, cup and a half of water. Closer to 2 cups. Oh, what the heck. 2 cups of Chaga never hurt anybody. Plop the lid on that bugger, and now all I want to do is I want to boil that. And I got a nice spot at the front of my fire. I'll swing around quick here. You can see I just set it right there in the front of the fire. That fire will work underneath that, and it'll come to a boil. And now what I want to do is I'm going to boil that for about 45 minutes. Well, 45 minutes is a long time to wait for my cup of Chaga tea. So in the meantime, I'm going to, now that I had the water out, I have my cook pot. I'm going to take my cook pot and I'm going to boil myself up I'm going to boil myself up a cup of water. Nice big cup, about a cup and a half there. Oh, that's another thing. When you're coming out in the woods, middle of the winter, yeah, you can melt snow. I melted snow for Blondie, my little mascot, in the coffee pot. But it took 5 packed pots of snow to make 3/4 of a coffee pot of water. Takes a long time to turn that into water. Can be done though. But I pack the water in with me. I try to pack in about 100 ounces or so of water. So there, and now this cup, I'll set back here in the coals, and we'll let that come to a boil so that I can have some coffee. So, there we are. We got our chaga cooking. I got my coffee on, and once the chaga is done, we'll jump right back on the video, I guess. Well, while it's cooking, I'll talk just for a couple of minutes on some of its benefits. There's so many benefits. Now, you can look online. There's all kinds of information on the benefits of chaga, and I'll just talk about a few of them. It builds your immune system. It's really good for your immune system. It acts like an anti-inflammatory, which is really good. I've had a lot of injuries over my life, so I have a lot of problems with some arthritic issues. And believe it or not, the chaga actually does help take some of the joint pains away. There's melanin in the chaga, in the black portion of the chaga, the black outer shell. You want to use the black along with the inner core of the chaga, all of it. The melanin in it is good for the skin. It brightens the color of your eyes. It improves the quality of your skin. It adds color, tone to your skin. It's very good for you. And they've been using chaga for hundreds of years. The Russians actually put a lot of time and research into chaga, and it's been proven that it can help fight cancers. One cancer that it helps prevent, and I understand can even be somewhat of not just preventative but a treatment, is melanomas. Melanomas are deadly. They're skin cancers, and chaga has been shown to reduce that risk or improve your odds if you do have melanoma of surviving it. Now, it's also said that chaga is good for people that are taking chemotherapy or radiation therapy because of the properties of the chaga. It helps counteract some of the side effects of those therapies. So, but look it up and look at what the professionals have to say about chaga and all of its benefits. I could tell you all day long, and I don't have the credentials to back up my ideas of chaga, but those that do have the credentials have videos on it. So look them up, but do a search on it and look at all the benefits that chaga has for you. And it's all natural. That's what I love about it, and it's out here in the woods. In fact, here at the lean-to, now I've been out here working on the lean-to for a couple of months and hanging out here, and lo and behold, I was looking, and just about 40 feet from here, there's a nice big old mature birch tree, and it's got I'd say about a 2.5, 3 pound chaga that's about that large. right on the tree there. I can see it from here, and we just noticed it. So chaga is there. You have to look for it. It's kind of rare, but it's there. If you got birch trees, you should be able to find chaga. So let's let this cook, and I'll come back on when we've got chaga tea complete. Well, folks, here we are. We're back. It's been about an hour and a half. And usually I like to boil this chaga about anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. Not at a hard boil, but as a simmer it for a good hour, between 1 and 2 hours, to get as much out of it as I can. So it's had plenty of time. And I checked on it, and it's nice and black like a good cup of coffee. So it's time to taste it. Let's check it out. Now, I like a little sweetener with my chaga. So I put a little bit of fake sweetener in here because I like it sweet. And I forgot to bring any honey with. I'll use honey. I use honey quite a bit. Some recipes I use, of course, use raw sugar, but rarely do I use raw sugar. So now let's try the chaga. Now, hopefully you can see this as I pour it, how dark it is. See, it's dark and rich, just like coffee. Just like you're pouring a cup of coffee. Oh, that's just the right amount, too. Nice full cup. I'll just set that pot aside. Pull a spoon out of my camp kit. Give that chaga and that sweetener a little swirl there. Ooh, is that hot? Oh, that tastes wonderful. Whoa, is that hot? That is nice on a cold day like today. Oh, that tastes wonderful. For those of you that have never had chaga, you'd be pleasantly surprised, I think. It's got a very mild flavor, and I would say of all the different types of hot teas or drinks that you can make out of natural wild items, chaga is my favorite. I don't recommend drinking it as a coffee replacement because that's a lot more chaga than a person needs to have in a day. But to have 1 or 2 cups a day, especially when you're out at camp like this, I had other chores to do while it was cooking. I spent an hour cooking on the fire, and now I get to enjoy a nice hot cup of chaga, and I think I'll pull my pipe out and have a nice smoke and a cup of chaga and enjoy my nice fire. I'll let you see my fire at this point. It's going really well. I'm very happy with my trip out here. I'm very warm. My jacket's Blondie's sleeping on my jacket. I don't need it. It's so nice and warm here. Things are starting to melt around here. They're starting. It's going just great. So with a nice hot cup of chaga and maybe a smoke, nice warm fire, nice shelter, beautiful scenery. This is Sty North. Now check out the next video. My little surprise is going to be next. This is my little project that I think you'll all enjoy.